by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into the non-victory Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We thank you so much for joining us here as we get back into our studio here in St. Petersburg. Thank God we were spared what our good friends down south are going through down in Fort Myers and Naples and all that area, and certainly our hearts and prayers going out to those folks down there and our relief supplies. I've seen so many people mobilizing here in Tampa Bay, and we're going to hopefully be able to direct you in certain ways to get relief supplies. And it's going to be an ongoing thing, folks. So if you haven't done anything yet, we understand everybody's just kind of, getting back into the groove after a long week and weekend. But there'll be plenty of work ahead and a chance to help out those folks down south. So we'll be trying to direct you in certain places that you can help. But we're going to get going today with the Buccaneers. Lost to the Chiefs last night, 41-31. It was a long weekend, certainly for my teams, as I went up to Tallahassee and watched the Noles. I don't want to say get spanked by Wake Forest, but Wake pretty much controlled the game in a lot of different ways. So I'll say good morning to Nick Geddes, who's commiserating with me with Bucs Noles losses this weekend. How are you, sir?
Good morning to you. Yeah, it was a rough weekend for sports teams, which again, in the grand scheme of things, seems silly.
Yeah.
But Bucs,
that's what we're here to talk about.
That's what we're here to talk about. Bucs, Florida State, USF, even the Rays. They clinched a playoff spot, but they dropped both series.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
I'm trying to think of anything else.
Going to Toronto or Cleveland, but not much after.
I'm trying to think of anything else. I didn't win in fantasy.
No, me neither.
I went clay shooting on Saturday with Casey, and
nice.
She hit more targets than I did.
Oh my God, what a horrible!
That's embarrassing. I took so many L's, and then I spent a lot of money to take her to her first NFL game last night, and yeah.
You want your money back?
I want my money back. So it was a bad week. It was a bad weekend.
Yeah, well, thanks to some generous friends of mine, FSU friends, I didn't have to pay for those tickets. Got some nice seats on the 50-yard line to watch another team go up and down the field, and my team not be able to stop them on third down. And really, the Bucs last night, that was, as Todd Bowles so succinctly put, we got our ass kicked up and down the field. And he took the blame for the loss, as he should, because this was a team that was not ready to play defensively. They were outcoached miserably, if you're a Buccaneers fan, on so many levels. Going through a little bit of the tape this morning, I got to about the first half, and I'm just here to tell you that you could see what Andy Reid was doing and what the Chiefs were doing from a strategic standpoint. Their offense is just so creative, and when you watch it up against the Buccaneers, very vanilla. But effective offense. In certainly, yesterday they were effective. It's a stark contrast. There's no question about it. I put it out on Twitter. It's like the difference in creativity, and obviously Mahomes is a lot more athletic than Brady. But just from a creativity standpoint, it's like looking at a Dali painting compared to a Hunter Biden original. One has so many different levels that you can just keep watching and keep being amazed at time and time again. The other one is just right in front of you there. And, sometimes it's ugly. And, last night they got the job done offensively, but it's so hard to measure when you're down by 3 scores most of the game, 2 and 3 scores most of the game. It's really hard to praise the offense, because clearly the Chiefs aren't going to play the way they normally would play. But I will still give it to him. Obviously, Brady, Evans, Godwin, Julio didn't get many touches. And in fact, one time on a Brady scramble where Brady avoided the rush, which I think he did better last night than he's done probably all season, threw a deep ball to Julio, who was open. He stopped running. He just stopped running. I really expected a lot more out of Julio at this point. And I know he's been injured, but some of the stuff that happened last night, you need more from him. The Bucs definitely need more from Julio Jones, and they're not getting it. Their inability to rush the football, the Bucs' inability. I know they only ran it 6 times and they got behind, but even when they tried to run the football, and this has been an ongoing thing since the Cowboys game. The Cowboys game, the running game was very creative. We saw jet sweeps. We saw a lot of different things. We haven't seen any of that since. I know people have some problems with play calling, but just to me overall, and when you watch an Andy Reid team play in front of you, so much misdirection, so many picks, so many everything, which they could have called and did not last night. But that's good. There's so much misdirection, and you could see that they were trying to get Levante David and Devin White out of position. They got Devin White out of position quite a lot. The fourth down that Clyde Edwards-Helaire dropped that would have been a touchdown, that was Devin White getting picked again by Kelsey over the middle, but being completely out of the play. And many times he was out of the play. Of course, in the touchdown that Mahomes flips to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Devin White comes running up, out of control again, can't get Mahomes to the ground, which I know he's a great player. But I consider Devin White a great player. And in that position, you got to make that play. And every single time in those positions, third downs, especially, the Bucs had chances to make plays. A couple interceptions went right through Levante David's hands. They didn't make the plays. And when you don't make plays against those teams like that, you get your ass kicked up and down the field. And that's what happened.
It starts with the first play of the game.
Yes.
I tell you this as somebody who was in the crowd. It was an electric atmosphere. Sunday Night Football. How could you not be excited? The crowd was starting to fill in. There was a lot of Chiefs fans there last night, which was I did not enjoy, but it was very exciting.
Yeah,
and then it's like if you were looking at your phone real quick or you weren't in your seat, it's like, what the hell happened? A Rachaad White fumble right away, and again, minute into the game, and you've spotted them a 7-0 lead.
Right.
10 minutes into the game, you've spotted them a 14-0 lead or 14-3 lead. They've done that now back-to-back weeks against the Packers and the Chiefs, and the competition in the NFL, and especially with those two quarterbacks, it's just too great.
Yeah.
You can't be spotting teams like that, 2 possession leads in the first 10 minutes of the game. You're behind the 8 ball. It limits what you can do offensively to start the game. And you just kind of, to me, I honestly felt like the crowd kind of got out of it right there.
Yeah.
I really did.
I felt that too.
It took it away from me. But when you don't start a game well, and that's one of the things the Bucs have not done. They have not started games well all season long.
Yep.
And it bit them in the ass again.
I got a lot, and we'll get into this today. I think it's way, way, way too early for this, but there is definitely some discontent within Buccaneers Twitter fan base over Todd Bowles as a head coach. I think it's way too early for that. Going into this game, he was the architect of the best defense in the NFL, and they played a bad game, and they were outcoached. But that does not mean this is a bad defense by any shape or form. There are times when teams just have your number on a given night. And the other thing that was really, really surprising, the Chiefs offensive line, and we pointed this out last week, when Shaq Barrett laughed at them, scoffed at them, I was like, that's not a good look, especially an offensive line that had only given up 2 sacks all year long. And he was asked, we played the soundbite last week. He was asked, what do you think is the difference between this offensive line and the one you played in the Super Bowl? And he's like, well, not really. Well, I think we'll have a breakout game. We like the matchups. You got your, Shaq Barrett, you got your ass handed to you. The entire defensive line got their ass handed to them. When I was watching the tape this morning, I was like, damn, they're pulling guards and tackles and centers, and they're 6 yards downfield before some of these guards and tackles are even hitting anybody. Just slow, out of position, getting worked. Where the hell was Vita Vea?
The Bucs played that game basically with 7 players on defense. It's basically what they did, especially in the first half. I told you the most damning stat I saw. The Bucs defensive line, Vita Vea, Raheem Nunez-Roches, Logan Hall, and Will Golston, and there's one other guy in there.
Anthony Nelson.
They had 1 tackle in the first half combined. The entire defensive line. 1 tackle. That is a shocking stat.
And they couldn't set the edge.
They couldn't set the edge.
They were getting crackback.
Yeah. And Mahomes hardly got pressure. And when he did, listen, some of it is just that guy is probably the best player on the face of the world. Sometimes maybe he doesn't play like it. Last night, he was the best player. Yeah. I think that might be I take the pick out of it. That was one of the best performances I've ever seen. That's the best quarterback performance I've seen live myself.
He only threw for 252.
He only threw for 252, but it just felt like he could do no wrong.
Right.
He's amazing.
Well, when you're 11 for 13 on third down, you're toying with the other team. And I was looking at some of these plays. There was one play where they run a stunt on the outside where Barrett goes inside, Logan Hall goes to the outside. and Logan Hall gets trapped inside, and Mahomes, who, by the way, is faster than you think.
Oh, yeah.
Outruns Levante David to the corner for 11 yards and a first down. There was a 3rd and 2, and they ran this play a couple of times. That stack screen to Travis Kelce outside, and you've got a corner on the Jamel Dean is up tight. The linebacker is inside probably 6 to 7 yards, and then Carlton Davis is 10 yards off, and you've got 2 blockers in front. And Kelce, you're out man 3-2 at the line. It's only 3rd and 2. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to make the first down. That's a gift.
Yeah.
That is a schemed up gift before you snap the ball. That's a first down. And they did that probably 3 or 4 times on 3rd and short. And I understand you don't want to give up big plays, but you're just gifting them. The slant touchdown to Fortson. I mean, Carlton, what are you doing, man? You just let a big guy just run in front of you, cross your face. And it's as easy as can be, an 11-yard touchdown pass or whatever it was. The defense was uninspired. The entire team was uninspired. And if they say, and they didn't use it as an excuse, although Tristan Wirfs did say, it wasn't our normal routine. The Bucs got in terms of the hurricane prep. The Bucs got all their practices in. They got all their meetings in. The organization went way beyond the norm to take care of their families, their pets, their rabbits, their dogs, their snakes, horses, everything. I mean, the organization went way above to make sure that these guys were free mentally, their families were taken care of, and good on them. And plus, they gave $2 million to the relief. I mean, tip of the cap to the Glazers and Brian Ford and the entire organization for the way they handled this whole hurricane. Unfortunately, with their Florida Strong shirts on, they were not Florida Strong.
No,
they were not Florida Strong, and they did not meet the moment. And you cannot use the hurricane as an excuse if you're a Buccaneers player or a coach, and they didn't.
And a couple of things you said, Mahomes, when he's running away, what he does, and it's like it's so hard for quarterbacks to do this because they're so worried about getting hit or getting out of bounds. Usually guys just kind of tuck it. They tuck the ball and they keep going. With him, it's always a threat that he always has it up here.
Right.
He's always up here. And that's what you saw on the play where he was able to find Clyde at the back of the end zone. That crazy. That's one of the damnedest plays I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the difference with him there. But I just think, too, and also Carlton Davis, I mean, you mentioned it, allowing a guy to go right across his face. There's an arrogance for whatever reason on offense and defense with this team. It boggles my mind. With Todd Bowles, and he did this in 2020, and eventually he had to adjust, and hey, they won the Super Bowl when he adjusted. You have 2 of the best cover corners in the league, man-to-man, Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis. They are man-to-man corners.
Mm-hmm.
They have no business playing 10 yards off. They can't play that way. You get beat every single time. And when you face these quarterbacks that have these quick releases and are just like Rodgers and Mahomes, you cannot play that way. There's no receiver on that field last night for Kansas City, save Travis Kelce, who's just an alien. Save Travis Kelce. There's nobody else in that field last night, in my opinion, that's able to beat guys routinely, 1v1, man-to-man. But when you play cover like that, you're opening up for everything for them to just pick you apart, and that's what they did.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say was, clearly the Chiefs were pissed off. And I'm sorry to tell you this, Kansas City and your fans, but you don't get any rings for wins on Sunday Night Football. Sorry. Just rings for Super Bowls. Yeah. So if it felt good last night, good for you. The Bucs won the one that counted. Just want to get that out there. Maybe make me feel a little bit better.
And your war chant sucks. It's not the
war chant is awful,
which I despised hearing last night.
It's awful. But yeah, you were too many in our stadium.
I found
good for you, but go home with your little Sunday Night Football win. But the jury's still on the Bucs finger.
I found the difference on the war chant, by the way.
What's that?
They're left-handers. They're all left-hander war chanters. Every single person I saw was a lefty.
Tom beat is just not good.
It's not good.
The Tom, it's not good. The sound itself,
it belongs to Florida State. End of story.
Yeah. By the way, Florida State folks were they were really jacked up for that game with Wake Forest, and we'll get into this a little bit later on in the show. But man, their team did not meet the moment either. They did not meet the moment at all whatsoever this weekend, and almost a crazy day in college football. You almost had Georgia go down to freaking Missouri. Could not believe that. But maybe some hope that Georgia may not just run through everybody in the freaking world. on their way to another national championship. So, yeah, look, the Kansas City Chiefs played inspired football. They were clearly into this game. They had circled this game. Mahomes had circled this game. They wanted as much retribution as they could get, and they toyed with the Buccaneers. They clowned the Buccaneers. That little fourth down play was a third or fourth down play on the goal line where Noah Gray jumps up by Mahomes is over here trying to distract, and then Gray comes up behind him while he's going in motion. A third string tight end from Duke takes a snap and just and the Bucs were not prepared for it, and they were clowned. And you know what? I hope that this could, and I know this may sound a little bit cliche, but they got humbled last night, and I think they needed it. After what Shaq Barrett said this week and just the general attitude of the defense and the team, they came out last night like they were going to kick ass. Like the game was already okay, already in the bag. And they got embarrassed. They got embarrassed on national television, and I hope it wakes their ass up. I really do.
And you know what? It's crazy because we went into this 4-game stretch and everybody was kind of saying, if you go 2-2, we'll take it. The hell with that, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's all about what happens in the games.
Yep.
Bottom line is, you get the win against Dallas, but Dallas was just awful. New Orleans was a fight all the way. And New Orleans, by the way, we just found out, ain't too good of a team at the moment, right?
No, but hey, the combined record of the other teams that we've played, 9-3.
Yeah, the Cowboys are playing with house money right now. I don't know what's going on there. But the best two teams they played were the Packers and Chiefs. That's who it is, right?
Yeah.
That's the best two teams you played.
Yep.
And those are the games you lost at home.
Yeah. And you should have beat the Packers.
Those are alarming.
Your defense played well enough to begin.
Those are alarming things to me. You said it right there. This is like wake-up call. I think a lot of these guys, the Bucs are more talented than every team in the league, I'd argue. And I think maybe they've fallen into a trap where, we're so talented, we could just go out here and we can win and we'll overcome everything.
Absolutely.
It doesn't work that way in this league.
No, that's why I think this is a really good wake-up call for them early in the season. I think the only thing you could say about 2-2 is, okay, we're still in first place, tied for first place. You beat Atlanta next week.
Your division stinks.
Yeah, your division stinks. You're going to, you really got to F this stuff to not make the playoffs. So if you're Todd Bowles and you're Brady and you're the leadership on this team, this is actually this can be a motivating force. Like, you know what? Like it was in 2020 when they got their ass kicked by the Chiefs. They went and, they took the week when they had an off week, but they did some real self-scouting, not only from a strategic standpoint, but from an inner fortitude, intestinal fortitude. And they came out and they played their ass off, and they didn't lose another game. And hopefully this will be the wake-up call, a similar wake-up call where you got embarrassed on national television. Who are you guys? Who are you guys on defense? Who are you on offense as a running game? Just as a funny aside, a comic relief here. So I'm talking to Tristan Wirfs last night, and we were talking about the hurricane preparedness. And I think Jenna mentioned that, somebody took a rabbit. Somebody had a bunny. Guess who has the bunny? Who? 67.
Oh.
Gedeke has a pet bunny.
He's a pet bunny?
Rabbit.
Well, he plays as soft as a pet bunny.
Well, that's where I was going with that. So I don't want to disparage your choice in pets, my friend.
He's far from a glass eater.
You've now been.
He's not a glass eater. Exposed.
You can't be a badass lineman and have a bunny.
Golly,
you can't.
You know what? This brings me to a good point right here. This is an off the cuff point.
We're
that
teasing.
I just thought of. Though. Remember when we were talking about the Bucs? I don't think I have to rely on all these rookies this year because we're loaded everywhere. All of a sudden, I'm looking around.
Rookies did not play well last
I got
night.
Luke Gedeke. I got Rashad White fumbling. I got K. Dotton, who missed 2 blocks on the first 3 runs of Fournette and had a drop in there, I think. And he now, because Brady has a concussion, now there's tight end 1. It's a rookie.
Yeah.
Right?
Just before Brady cut the press conference short, I was just about to ask, hey, you're a little short at tight end. Do you know anybody who's available that might be able to help out?
I walked out of the stadium last night and I was pissed off. And I told Casey, I said, Gronk is being selfish. I said, I'm on your train now because he's in every damn commercial that when I turn on the TV. He posted an Instagram story and he's blowing rocks off his yard or whatever. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man?
Get your ass in there and help your man out, for God's sake.
You're making me watch Andy Dalton without you in there. I mean, It's killing me.
As I made this impassioned plea last week and told Gronk that you're being selfish, that man Brady made you. He is in need now, man. Come on. What are you doing? Get your ass out there and help your boy out. which, by the way, I wasn't going to mention this, but everybody's talking about it.
What?
The AB post.
I don't even want to give energy to this dude anymore. He's a lousy human being. Lousy.
You post a picture of Giselle hugging you, and then you put that on. Like, what the hell does that mean?
Well,
and this, there's already enough, rumors going out there. Come on. Like, God, what a decrepit human being.
Decrepit. That's a good word.
Decrepit human being.
And the video,
somebody like this guy is a ticking.
Somebody needs to save him from himself. But the problem is people leech on to them and they surround themselves and nobody's telling him you're wrong.
Oh, God, everybody's, if he reads any of the comments
I don't know.
on social media, but I think that just fuels his fire, to be quite honest.
I mean, Julio.
But the only reason I bring it up is because, God, I hope this is not in Brady's head. This is not stuff that's going on behind the scenes.
We made it 20 minutes here without even bringing up Brady. And the reason why is because I think he's like there's like a couple bright spots on this team at the moment. And he's one of them.
He played great.
This is what I said this last night. I'm like, the whole narrative all week is going to be about Brady. I don't want to hear it, man. This guy has played as good as you can play. I thought the first 4 weeks with everything else going on.
52 for 385, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. They scored 31 points. What more do you want?
How many throws did he miss? I don't think maybe a couple he'd want to have back, but I thought the fact that he had to throw that many times and no running game, you score 31 points for the most. Took a big hit. I mean, he was flexing the shoulder on the sideline. Everybody had cause for concern there. I mean, I think if you want to go say Brady's a problem in this whole scenario, he's not doing his part. You're just.
The offense has been crap the first 3 games. We get it. Well, I'll say the middle 2 games. Against the Cowboys, it was fine. They ran the ball really well. They were in control of that game the whole time. If they needed to score more, they could have scored more. The Saints game was not good offensively, not great. The Packers games was dreadful. But when he got his weapons back, they moved the ball. They scored 31 points. That should be good enough.
You should be winning football games in the league, in the national.
Absolutely.
If you're scoring 31 points. I tell you another thing with the offense, though, and I picked up on this. Are you noticing a lack of deep shots this year? There is a lack of guys getting vertical down the field, in my opinion, in this offense. They're really not even how many shots? He threw 52 times yesterday. What did he throw? He took 1 deep ball to Julio? Was that it?
I think 1 to Evans, too. Down the sideline, but that was more of a garbage time.
Yeah, that was garbage time. I don't think they're doing as much, and I don't know if that's a difference in Bruce or I don't know, but I tell you, it's just the whole offensive scheme.
It's
vanilla.
So
it's as vanilla as it gets.
So vanilla,
and
it's just, and especially when you're watching up against the Chiefs, it's just so vanilla.
I know that I know you've defended Byron Leftwich, and right now he's like public enemy number 1. And I tell you, it's frustrating, man. He starts out the game and he wants to go, and I know they went away from it quickly, so thank you for adjusting. But he starts out and he wants to go first down run right up the ass of the center. And it's just not working. It's not working.
Well, I think and this will kind of segue into Todd Bowles here and get his interview, which I thought was very candid. And he looked, he was depressed. He was pissed off. There's no question about it. And I saw a lot of the cutaways on the TV last night as I was in the press box. And, it's never a good look when you're getting your ass handed to you and you're just kind of sitting there like I am right now, arms folded, got your headset on. You're not saying anything. You're not demonstrative in any way. Not that that's, I always get pissed when people go, oh, he just shows no emotion. Look, you're a professional football coach. These guys, you don't need to be running up and down the sideline, patting guys on the ass, telling them to go play. This is the NFL. All right. You get your own motivation from your freaking paycheck or whatever you get it. It doesn't necessarily have to come from the coach. Or there should be some people on staff or leaders in the team that are kicking people in the ass. Doesn't necessarily have to come from the head coach. That said, people they're starting this. Todd Bowles is not a great head coach drumbeat. And I'm like, let's hold off on that. He's got his defense has been the best takeaway defense since he got here. It's been the best pressure defense since we got here. One bad game against, the freak of the planet when it comes to playing quarterback. I'm not going to freak out about it. So let's just, calm down that talk a little.
I don't go towards Bowles. I go more towards Byron Leftwich on this. I will always go more to Byron Leftwich because this offense is so dictated on having elite skill guys who can make their own separation and get open. They don't scheme a single person open. They
No.
don't do it.
No,
Kansas
not like
City,
the Chiefs do.
not like the Chiefs do, not like the Dolphins do, not like the Rams do, not like the 40. I can keep going down a list. There's all these great young offensive play callers in the league. And I don't know who figured out that Byron Leftwich is not in that tier. I'm telling you right now, this guy is being propped up by Tom Brady and elite weapons, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, look how the offense is done without those elite weapons. You want to know why?
Terrible.
Because they have to get open.
Right.
And they can't get open.
Not scheming it.
That's a scheme problem.
No, it's a totally fair characterization. The only thing I would say about that is I'm Byron Leftwich, and that's when I'm presented. This is my canvas. These are my tools. This is my toolbox. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rely on my elite players to make the difference. Problem, when those elite players aren't around, you're screwed. My question is, why can't you do both? Why can't you do both? Right? Why do you have to exclusively be dependent on difference makers at wide receivers positions and Brady's arm? Why can't you scheme up some things? Why are you? And I know that there's a lot of it predicated on the bootleg and the RPO for Mahomes, but you could still do run pass options with Brady, with a running back. Obviously, he's not coming out the back door, and that's that's part of it. Is much easier to defend, but then you're still freezing those linebackers and safeties as to is this run or pass. And we just don't see enough of that. Like I keep saying, as a week one, I was like, man, look at this running game. They're running jet sweep. When's the last time we saw jet sweep? Week one, when we ran the ball well. And these are things that keep, your defensive ends and your linebackers. There was one play, speaking of misdirection, there was one play down on the goal line in the first half. And I think it was Pacheco ended up running the ball, or maybe it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire, where they did a run pass option. And Devin White, I swear to you, took 2 steps up, took 2 steps back, and then fell over. Like he's just standing there by himself. He was so confused. He was like, I'm coming. And then he just like fell over. Like it's so embarrassing. But it just goes to like how his head was just swimming. I mean, there's an elite athlete. That dude is an elite athlete. And he was like, it was like he was drunk or something. But that's what they do to you.
And listen, I don't want to just put it on Devin White. Levante David was a no-show in this game as well. I know that we love to call out Devin White when he plays poorly.
Yeah.
Levante David wasn't much better in this game.
The linebackers were clowned a little bit.
I think that's where the game was lost, honestly.
Yeah.
The defensive line didn't give you any help.
They didn't give you any help.
But, I mean, you got those guys were getting – every time they got to the second level of the defense, I understand it's difficult. You got a guy barreling at you, and you have to try to make the tackle. But they were getting carried for 3, 4, 5 extra yards every single play.
And they hit the pile, and you see their linemen come up, and they push the pile. There was a couple times where we only ran it 6 times. There was one time where Fournette, got about a 6 or 7 yard run. Gedeke was about 2 or 3 yards behind him, and Fournette's trying to, get an extra couple of yards. Guys are he's just standing there watching. Like, get your ass in there, man. Your blocking ain't done. Your job is not done. Get your ass in there and push the pile. So, these are all look, it's a long season. Yeah. And, this was a humbling experience. They're going to watch the tape today, and they are going to get knocked down a peg. And you know what? It's probably exactly what they needed. Because when you have a team that's recently won a Super Bowl, everybody's telling you how great you are. You start 2-0 on the road. You're only giving up 9 points a game. Everybody's like, and then you get your ass handed to you on national television. It's a pretty good tonic. And today's film session, they're going to be embarrassed. And let's see how they react from that. You got the Falcons coming in. You got a home game against the team with scrappy Falcons.
This team, everybody's looking at the Bucs schedule ahead and like, they're going to go 3-0 here, and they're going to be back on track before they get to Baltimore. Atlanta's like the only team in the league that I think has scored 20 points plus in all 4 games.
It's a scrappy team.
I know they can't throw the ball at all, but they can run the ball.
Mariota had 8 completions? Yeah, they can run the ball.
Mariota yesterday, he had a bad incompletion in the third quarter. I don't think he threw 1 pass in the fourth. But they can run the ball like nobody's business. And the Bucs right now, they can't stop the run all of a sudden. So they can't take this game for granted.
Do we still have Ndamukong Suh's phone number?
No, man, a lot of people are like, Jason messed up. He didn't bring Ndamukong Suh back. It's not Ndamukong Suh. To me, Vita Vea's just not playing good.
Yeah.
He's just not playing good.
Logan Hall
Logan Hall has no business playing as many snaps as he is right now, but he has to. But again, this is what we said. I mean, when you bring in this veteran roster and a lot of guys who have health issues, I mean, this is kind of the risk you run. And who's the guys that are hurt? I mean, Julio Jones can't like run one route without getting nicked up.
Yeah,
I mean,
Hicks.
Shocker. Akeem Hicks is hurt already. Logan Ryan got hurt like first series of the game yesterday.
And clearly that was that,
Yeah, that was big. I mean, it just happens.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's get to Todd Bowles' press conference, and I'll credit him on this. He wasn't hiding at all. He owned every bit of this one. So let's listen into Todd Bowles' post game. Todd Bowles.
Todd, your defense had only given up 27 points before
Come on.
they gave up 28 in the first half. I know the turnover starting the game is not what you wanted, but what happened
Nothing.
to the defense?
We didn't play well. They did a good job.
Okay, Todd Bowles. We'll try to get
Might
that.
have to play around with that a little bit.
We'll try to get that
We gotta play
up to you in just a second. But basically, what he said is
we
we got our ass kicked up and down the field. We got our ass kicked up and down the field, and the Hurricane didn't have anything to do with it. They were better. They were a better football team. They were more inspired, and that's what happens. When you come into a game like this, and you don't meet the intensity of the other team. Especially when it's the Chiefs, you can get embarrassed. And I wasn't kind of on this. They're going to really, really miss. I thought that they would miss Tyreek Hill a lot. I'm here to tell you that I think this was a perfect example of how, by the end of the season, especially the Chiefs they're so much more multiple. I mean, how many guys did they have catch passes last night? Let me see if I get had that. I think they had 8 different guys catch passes last night.
Well, again, but it's a difference. It's Andy Reid. Andy Reid is one of the best head coaches in this game. He's one of the best offensive minds in the game. I don't care that he's 70 years old, whatever he is. He is still, to me, the top of the league when it comes to offensive play callers. He still is. Adjustment, and it helps, of course, when you have the greatest quarterback on the planet that can just make everybody look good. But, again, that's just the difference. The Bucs they were badly outcoached in this game. It really wasn't close. I think that's where a lot of people are pointing it at Byron or at Bowles. It is, but yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 guys with receptions yesterday.
Night,
I mean, it all the way down to like all their.
Noah Gray scores a rushing touchdown.
And Noah Gray scores a rushing touchdown. Yeah. So everybody's getting involved, and you look at the Bucs. I mean, I don't think anybody outside of the top 3 receivers was really on the field.
Well, I will say this: Fournette and Rachaad White combined for 12 for over 100 yards in receiving. That's kind of I think that's kind of more of their running game right now. Is just. Yeah,
and it has to be.
Yeah.
Let me try to go back to Bowles here because I think I've solved the issue here on the.
Let's try it again
on the spot.
Todd Bowles, take 2.
Let's see what we got here. There we go.
Todd, your defense had only given up 27 points before tonight. They gave up 28 in the first half. I know the turnover starting the game is not what you wanted, but what happened tonight to the defense?
We didn't play well. They did a good job, and they kicked our butts all over the field. Turnovers had nothing to do with it. We got to play situational football. If they do get it down there and holding a 3 at least, our red zone defense was poor. Our run defense was poor. Our pass defense was poor. Our third down efficiency was poor. And we played a poor game, and that falls on me. I'll take that.
Coach, how's Cameron Braid doing? And do you have any concerns that he went back in the game at the end of the second?
Yeah, this was weird.
He's in concussion right now, protocol right now. We'll see how he's doing a little later on.
Take us through what happened there, because he took that hard hit and then he came back in the game and then he left and was ruled out with the concussion.
I didn't exactly see what happened when he came back in the game, so I got to look at the film to see that.
They were so good on third downs, and so much of it was Kelsey. Is there anything he did to get open, or is there anything you guys didn't do to contain him better?
He's a heck of a ball player. We got a lot of respect for him as part of his greatness and some of the things we didn't do well as well. So, we didn't play a good ball game. Like I said, third down was at least 60%, I'm pretty sure. And we did not do a good job of doing our assignments or calling the game as coaches and as players.
How do you think the Hurricane, like the referee, played affected anything?
No, we just lost the game.
Obviously, it was lopsided because you got behind, but when you did try to run it, you haven't run it well for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Can you see what's going on up front?
I'll check the film out. I know we got behind early and we tried to get back in the ball game and keep pace. So, this one was kind of the last 2 weeks. I know we didn't run it well, but we had every intention to tonight. Got behind early and it didn't happen.
Todd, we didn't see a lot of Julio Jones tonight. Did he have any kind of setback at all?
I know he got nicked up a little bit, so they held him out. I got to see what happened to him.
How are Carlton Davis and Logan Ryan doing?
Logan has a foot injury. Carlton got a stinger.
In a weird way, I mean, he was never intended to throw that much. I mean, but Tom did throw for 385 yards and 3 touchdowns. When your guys are out there, does it still look like you can attack down the field, effectively when you need to?
Well, you want to be healthy. If you're healthy, you give yourselves a chance. But that had nothing to do with this game. Everything on this game fell on the defensive side of the ball.
How difficult is it though for a defense to start a game? And again, I know you said you don't want to blame it on those early turnovers, but when a defense has to suddenly start a game with their backs against the wall like that, how difficult is it to climb out of that hole?
That's why you play defense. Your back is always against the wall. Your job is to do your job when you're out there, whether it's the red zone, whether it's backed up, whether it's midfield. Doesn't matter where they get the ball at. Our job is to hold them to 3 or get a turnover.
I had asked you about Cameron Brady already, but obviously in light of what's happened in the league this week with Tua, are there any concerns about him going back into the game after he took that initial hit?
Again, I got to see what happened. I don't know for sure, so I really can't answer that question.
It's one thing when Mahomes is making plays like he makes, but for them to run the ball as easily as they did, I think they ran for 190. How concerning is that?
It's very concerning. It's very concerning. And we had heavy boxes most of the time, too, so that's very concerning.
From the sideline, what did you see? Were they missed tackles, missed run fits, all the above, missed assignments? What you have?
You name it, we did it. Missed tackles, missed run fits, missed assignments, bad calls, you name it. We did it.
What's going to be your message to the team to get them back on track and focused on this upcoming week?
As bad as we played, we did get our butts kicked. Hats off to them. We're still 2-2. We got a lot of work ahead of us. We got our whole season ahead of us. So we got to grind. Nobody's looking at the names on the back of our jerseys. We got to grind just like everybody else. You put in the work, you see the results.
I know Tom finished the game. Was he okay after that sack? He looked like he was throwing quite a bit on the side, loosening his shoulder a little bit.
He hadn't said anything to date, no.
Anything else?
The offensive line for the Chiefs seemed to really own the trenches tonight. Shaq Barrett kind of came out and, I don't want to say made a disparaging comment, but certainly wasn't giving them any props and saying that he didn't see much difference between the Chiefs offensive line in the Super Bowl and the one tonight. Do you think there was some bulletin board material that he gave the Chiefs in terms of their offensive line play tonight?
I can't answer that. I'm not in their locker room. I think he may have been talking about the scheme, but, they did a good job blocking us tonight. They did a heck of a job. Hats off to them.
Mike Edwards led the team in tackles for the second.
That's a great
week.
question.
Can you just talk about his ability to step into a full-time starting role?
I mean, he started a lot last year, so this is nothing new for him. I got to look at the film to see how well he did or didn't.
You mentioned opposing offenses are finding their way the first few weeks of the season. Did the Chiefs do some things really different from the first 3 weeks of opponents? And is that going to be a bigger problem going forward if you don't find a way as teams are finding their footing?
No, they just found a way to play better than we did. They played harder, they played better, they played tougher, and they won the ball game. Hats off to them.
Is there any encouragement from the fact that, there was that difficulty scoring early on in the season and you guys were able to find the end zone several times tonight?
Encouragement is that it's one loss and we're 2-2 and we get to play again next week.
Yeah, I mean, what Bowles is saying there is, and this is part of the NFL. Even in the NFL, if you don't come ready to play and motivated and inspired, you're going to, against a good team like this, you're going to get your ass kicked, and that's what happened. All those ingredients went into it, and again, you just hope if you're a Bucs fan that this is a wake up call, because motivation is a huge part of it. A lot of these guys are well paid, they're well compensated, they got rings. They're veteran players. They got to find some motivation. And if I'm going to say one thing derogatory about Brady, and a couple of weeks ago he's smashing tablets and whatnot, and I think it's because I think he can get visibly frustrated when the offense is doing bad. But when the defense is getting their ass kicked, I don't think him being visibly frustrated is going to be a bad look for him. Because it's the defense and the offense hasn't held up their end of the bargain. the leadership on this team, and I'm looking at Shaq Barrett, I'm looking at Levante David, I'm looking at Devin White. The leadership on this team has Carlton Davis. You guys are making a lot of money, and you guys are veteran players. You got to step up and find that motivation. You didn't fly around there last night like we've seen you do. You weren't laying big hits. You weren't, beyond outside of Keanu O'Neal, who just does that naturally. I just didn't see the intensity. And I know sometimes when you're kind of on your heels a little bit and they're making plays, it's hard to get intense. But they had opportunities to make plays and turn the game around, and they didn't do it.
I guess I
just didn't do it. They didn't make tackles.
I guess I just don't know where that lack of intensity comes from, though. It's because you see everybody before the game, and I know it's different. It isn't. You give a rah-rah speech doesn't mean you're go out there and play good. I mean, that's the fact of the matter. But it's like I look at somebody like Devin White, and he looked more so amped up to play that game yesterday than even usual. And it's just shocking to me to see the result, especially of his play. Yeah. I mean, you're coming off being NFC Defensive Player of the Month. Everybody's saying everything that we wanted to see you change, you've done, and then you just revert completely back to
Isn't it funny when he gets the pat on the back is when he seems to take a step back?
It's alarming, man. I mean, I don't want to keep going down this rabbit hole with Devin White, but it's what are we, year 5? Are we year 5 or year 4?
I think it's year 4.
We're year 4 now. Yeah. I'm sorry. For the money that this guy's going to command in the offseason and the accolades and the way he gets talked about league-wide, I don't see elite linebackers have games like that.
No.
I don't.
No.
I see Devin White have at least a few of those every year.
He definitely reverted back to his undisciplined, out of control at times way of playing football, and it doesn't work. No. Like people have caught on. Every play caller in this league now is targeting him for misdirection plays, little picks here and there.
Yeah, and because he was so full, that's what I'm saying. He was late. He made a lot of tackles, and he was involved in every play. But he was late to everything. Yeah, he was very late. By the time he got to make tackles, it was already 7 yards every time.
Right. No impact plays. All right, we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from Tom Brady. We'll get more into the offensive side of things, what's going on there. That was certainly a positive. What do you guys think? You can ring us up on social media at FanStreamJP. You can also watch us on YouTube and comment there. Also on my Facebook page, JP Peterson. Follow there. Go check that out. You can watch. You can comment. We'll read some of your comments on the air when we come back. This is the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigations, emerginginv.com, Tampa Bay's #1 private investigation agency. We'll have more on them and the Bucs when we come back. Stay with us. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's #1 private investigation agency. You can reach them at emerginginv.com and by Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Go to their website, get all the information there. If you've had your car totaled and didn't get the amount of money that you thought you should have gotten, that's where one of their specialties is. So call them up. It's a free call. See if you have a case. You probably do, because the insurance companies like to do that a lot. So just go to Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, and give them a call. It's all free call, and they'll let you know if you have a case. All right. I'm going to get to some of the comments. And by the way, you can always comment on our YouTube and Facebook pages, and we will put yours up here. Joe F., good morning to you. Says, sure would be nice to have Sue and Gronk right about now. My co-host is not a big Sue fan, but I don't think you can. Hey, listen, if he would come back for $1 million right now that Keem Hicks is out, I'm going to throw him out there for a couple games.
I think I'd rather have Gronk
I'd much rather have Gronk.
And I'd pay a lot more for it too.
Yeah, I was going to ask him last night, hey, Brady, before he left the podium, down a tight end.
He probably sensed it coming, and he said, I got to stop this right now.
Know anybody? Know anybody out there that might be able to help you? I don't know. Yeah, because we didn't comment on the Cam Brate thing. That was disturbing. I mean, he was clearly having some issues there. He got hit in the head and was down, got up, couldn't run off the field in time. I think they even got a penalty on that play, too many men on the field. And then he goes back into the game, and he wasn't checked out and was not brought to the tent initially. I mean, after what happened to Tua last week, that's not a good look. It's not a good look, and it's not good for the players. Like, what the hell's going on here? We're supposed to have independent people on the sideline doing this stuff.
And we listened to Todd. He was asked a lot about it, and
he wasn't going to answer it.
I know he wasn't going to answer
rightfully
it.
so, because it's a very. And if you don't know, don't say anything about it.
I get it. I don't know.
He needs to answer it today.
He needs to answer it today. I just felt in that. I just feel like I know there's a lot going on in the midst of the game and everything, but him kind of just saying, like, I don't even know what happened or anything. Like, I feel like you should know as a head coach, like, yeah, this guy just got knocked out. Like, we need to check him. Like, I don't know. But there's a lot of layers to it, obviously.
It's not a good look. Michael Hall says, how much did the Ian disruption have to do with it? Hate to use that as an excuse, but can't dismiss it. Yeah, we've talked about this a couple of times. The Bucs organization took everybody down there, chartered 2 planes, got their families out of harm's way, got their pets out of harm's way. They went above and beyond. They had all their practices uninterrupted, all their meetings uninterrupted. Was there a little bit of distraction on their property at home? I mean, there shouldn't have been, not that much. If you're paying attention to what's going on with the hurricane, Tampa Bay was out of harm's way for the most part of the serious damage. So
I don't think it had a single thing to do with the ass kicking that we saw yesterday.
No,
I really don't.
I think if you put that out there, you're cheapening what the Chiefs did. The Chiefs kicked your ass, and that was the biggest problem. All right, let's get to Tom Brady after the game, and I'm going to tell you there's a lot of illuminating stuff here, but I would say, he just has a different demeanor this year, guys. It's all, compared to what I've seen the last 2 years, this is a different demeanor, and I think it's definitely noticeable. Whatever's going on with him, it's different, no question about it. So you can agree or disagree. That's just my feeling from the nonverbal and being in these press conferences and just looking at him and the way he's dealing with questions and everything. It's just different. It's just different. Here's Tom Brady.
Hey guys, how you doing? You're feeling all right? It looked like after that one sack you were throwing the ball a lot on the sideline.
I'll be all right.
He ain't giving you anything.
3 games where the offense was struggling. Obviously, that came together, but the defense struggled. How frustrating is to have one side kind of find itself while the other struggles?
Well, it's a team sport, so we didn't play great on offense. We didn't help them very much either. So we didn't do great in the first half. Too many missed opportunities on third down, turnovers. So tough game, tough team. They're a good team, but we got to play a lot better if we want to be good teams. So it hasn't been our best yet this year. It'd be good to see what it looks like when we do play our best.
So did the hurricane play a factor at all, like how you guys played at the rough week?
I don't think so. Yeah, we just didn't play great. And give them a lot of credit. They made a lot of good plays. Patrick played great. They ran the ball great. They did well on third down, the red area, won the turnover battle, time of possession, because we didn't do much on offense. We left our defense out there. It's a tough defense, tough on our defense to, let an offense have that kind of time of possession. So, we all got to get back to work and do a better job.
Russell Gage told us about how you spend a lot of time with him getting mental reps when you couldn't get the physical reps. But how difficult is it when a lot of your guys can't get those physical reps during the week?
I think every team deals with it, and I think whoever deals with the best is the one that over the course of the season does the best job. So
they got
you're not going to practice every day. It's, some days you can make 1 day a week and 2, some days 3, and you just got to keep building, But we just haven't, done a great job this year putting it all together.
Difficult to kind of be your normal selves on offense when you get into a hole early like that and you're not able to run the ball very much. But did it start to feel like you were finding your rhythm a little bit offensively? I mean, you guys did find the end zone several times tonight.
I think a little bit better than the way we've been playing, but obviously not good enough. So we're here for one reason, not to, move the ball or anything like that. We're here to score more points than the other team. And they did a good job. They didn't turn it over. They had 1 turnover. They ran the ball well. We didn't do a great job in the run game. Could have done a lot better job in the pass game. And, we just got to get out there and get to work and see if we can do a better job.
Tom, I know you're playing from behind these last couple of games, but from what you see, why have y'all struggled to get things going on the ground, just from what you've seen?
We got to take a look. I'm sure it's not just one thing. I'm sure it's probably several things. And, we just got to take the time to evaluate it and, see if we can do a better job. Obviously we're not going to throw it all the time. We have plenty of good, capable runners and, a line that does a great job in the run game. We just haven't, kind of found our rhythm yet there.
You often say that this first month of the season is where you find your identity as an offense. Do you feel like you guys have found your identity, or are you still searching for it?
I think we're going to have to show up every day to work hard to try to be better than the previous week. So it doesn't matter what we did last year, year before that, no one really cares. It's what you do this week for this preparation for this game. And, when you come up short, obviously we didn't do a great job in any area. And, we have to do a better job.
Tom, what can you build on offensively from this game?
Obviously when we're throwing and catching the ball well, we're able to move the ball and we're able to get the ball in the end zone. So it's going to pay dividends down the road. We just got to get out there and keep practicing it.
Just had Rashad White.
I think he's happy.
Rashad White came in and had some, pivotal catches, had the touchdown. Yep. What have you seen out his growth and his extended time tonight?
Did a good job. He did a good job. He's going to have to keep doing a good job. I mean, we only had 3 backs active. Lenny has played a big role the last 3 weeks. So it's good to, not have so much on his plate all the time. We need other people to step into that role and help out.
Mahomes talked about when you were waiting in the locker room for him, I guess was the first time you guys talked, and how much that meant to have encouragement from you. He was on the losing side of that. Can you just speak to what it's like being able to go toe to toe with a guy like that? Maybe even what you said to him after the game.
Yeah, I like Patrick a lot. Had a chance to be around him a little bit, and obviously think he's a great player. He's doing a great job for that team. And he's got a great career ahead of him. So I'm always here to help anybody that I can, anyone who is looking for advice. And, I've certainly seen a lot in the game, and I'm always happy to pass on information to others to hopefully see those guys maximize their potential. Like I've been very fortunate to maximize mine. I've had a lot of mentors in my life that played a very important role in helping me be the best I could be too. So the least I could do is give it back to, all the other people that are looking for, success in their field. So I've been very lucky to, certainly not me. It takes a lot of people to support all of us. And, I really love watching Patrick play, and, does a great job for that team. And unfortunately we're on the wrong end of it tonight. So thank you.
It's Tom Brady after last night's loss. I don't think he's thrilled with the offense because he knows a lot of this was, you're playing from behind. They're going to give you a lot of things. They took what they gave them. There were positives, no question about getting the guys back. Obviously, Mike Evans in the red zone is a beast. A couple of catches that he made, the one in the corner, the one over the middle, taking a big hit. And he took a big hit late in the game where they threw a penalty flag on, which, I don't know. I don't know if that was I guess when you hit a guy, a receiver up high when he's going for the ball, it's just they're going to throw the flag on that every time.
Yeah, I mean, there was he was asked, I think, what do you're always about the identity of the offense, and he was asked about that. And he didn't really answer the question, to be honest with you, about what the identity of the offense is. And
Yeah,
I think
that's a good point.
In week 1, we all said, okay, this team's going to want to run the ball more. We want to scale back Brady a little bit, and
they can't run.
It just can't run, and now it's like you're forced to going right back to where you were. And listen, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
No.
You can run the ball you want in this league and whatever. I'm under the belief, man, you could throw every single play and you can win the game. I really do. I just think that's the way the game is now. And when you have these type of quarterbacks, you can do it.
I think it's easier to score points when you're more balanced.
Probably.
Yeah, it just is. It's easier on your. But again,
I saw the way
can't
they
expose Brady to 52 throws every game. He got hit. He got hit last night a lot. He got hit more than he needed to get hit. If you can have balance, you can. But here's the thing: if you can't run the football, if your offensive line can't move people and you can't execute in the run game, then it's futile to keep trying to do it. They've got to get better.
Well.
At the run game, and Tristan Wirfs was asked about that. We got that, and we'll give it to you after the break. But
here's the thing too with the run game, though, it has to, if you can't run block normally, right? Get a little creative, and this is a common theme today. Find other ways to run the ball. It doesn't always have to be off a guard or up the middle. That's just it. Always seems like it's always just Fournette just goes straight up the middle.
Yeah, where's the pitch plays? Where's the jet sweeps? Where's the reverse action?
I don't think the thing is, I don't think Leonard Fournette's that type of running back where you want him going out to the boundary like that, unless it's some kind of thing that just happens in the play. I don't think he's that guy.
Yes, you can.
I don't.
They did it against Dallas with great success.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm playing the Bucs run game, it's got to be so easy. It's
you just have to show
4 or
up.
5 plays. Yeah, follow the guard. I mean, it's like it's not that hard.
And these guards, at least on the left side, just don't have it right now.
And you look at the misdirection of the Kansas City offense. It's got players going everywhere. If you're a linebacker, you're Devin White. You're like, am I going up? Am I going out? I'll just fall down.
Yeah, and that's disappointing.
You didn't even need to block him.
Yeah, and that's disappointing in itself. And then you look at like Kansas City's linebackers. It's hardly the strength of their defense, and they didn't exploit that at all.
All right, can we do some mean tweets?
Mean tweets.
Yeah, mean tweets. We got a lot of mean tweets. Not at me.
Give me the mean tweets.
More at Todd Bowles. This is from Sports Only 62. He says, a team takes on the personality of its head coach. I have no idea how he is behind closed doors, but Bowles is so laid back in public that I think the lack of fire is wearing off on the team. Maybe I'm wrong. Certainly didn't happen to this level under Dungy, but yeah, I don't buy into that in the pros. I just don't. I think you got to find your own motivation. I know it looks bad when things are going poorly, but he had the same demeanor the first 3 games, and they were giving up 9 points a game. So, and maybe you're talking as a head coach instead of a defensive coordinator, but again, I don't
buy it. Listen, we see what we see on the TV cameras and all that kind of stuff. If you want to get a good example, the NFL always has everybody mic'd up, and they do like those little like short films of every game. I watched the one of the Packers game. Todd's animated on the sideline. He is actually animated, and he gets, he drops a couple of F-bombs in there. He's normal.
Yeah,
like I just
guys love playing for him.
Loves guys. That's a college thing, in my opinion.
Joseph Canavina says, not sure Bowles is head coach material. He made a bunch of bad decisions with the Jets, and that seems to have carried here. His D has never been complete. Really good versus the run, below average versus pass, or now good versus pass, but below average versus run. Clueless on offense. Well, I don't think he's doing much with the offense, which is good. He knows where to stick his nose in and where not. I would just have to disagree with you. Defensive numbers say differently. They take away the ball, second or third best since he's been here.
Some of you Bucs fans, you're privileged. Okay, you didn't live through the Mike Smith years, did you? Some of you are new here, right? You didn't see Mike. You want to see a bad defense? I'll show you a bad defense. You want to go see Mike Smith years? I'll show you those.
Yeah, those are bad. Those are bad.
Okay.
A lot of it. And talking about vanilla, there's a lot of vanilla. Howard Bass says Bowles' defense was not prepared to play. Kansas City exposed them big time. It doesn't help that they were badly outcoached. Yeah,
that's true.
They were badly outcoached. I think they, the Chiefs had a great plan for the Bucs run game, make them one-dimensional offensively. They clearly outclassed Bowles. He was embarrassed. They clowned him. Brian Reed says, nice tone setter by Rachaad White as well. Take it out and fumble it. I mean, again, you come out, the stadium is jacked. You were out in the crowd.
Yeah.
So you could get a better feel for this than I could, because being in the press box, it does get a little sterile. We can hear the crowd, but it's a closed press box, so it's very muted.
It was quiet for long stretches of that game.
Yeah.
Long stretches of that game.
There's nothing to cheer about.
Nothing to cheer
You're getting
about. Yeah,
clowned.
but yeah, when you have a play like that start, I mean, even Casey told me, I asked her, I was like, did you enjoy the game? And she's like, it honestly underwhelmed me. And she's like, and I said, well, yeah, because, they didn't play well. And she's like, well, no, it was because I was really into it before the game started. And then the first play just kind of took everything out of it. It's poof.
Yeah,
It's like
poof.
that.
And it's not only the fact you fumble, like Bowles says, you got to come out there and play defense, hold them to a field goal. It's a momentum swing for you. And instead, it's 2 plays that they're in the end zone. You're like, what the F? Like, I mean, God.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people, on that play, Rachaad White, there were a lot of people in the stands that were like, why would you take it out? Just kneel it. And I'm like, you can't get like a yard into the end zone. You're taking that out every single day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who kneels at the 1 yard line, right 1 yard into the end zone? It happens. It happens.
This one from Matt Brown. The Knowles and Bucs third down defense was not good this weekend.
Our eyes did not deserve to be subjected to that.
Here's one from Phil R. The D line seemed to get blown off the ball all night. Even when they initially hit ball carriers, they were pushed back, dominated in the trenches. 100%. This was a huge part of the game. They ran for 189 yards, and I would say half of that was after contact. That can't happen. That's just a team willing themselves. They wanted it more than you. And by the way, Wake Forest wanted it more than FSU. We'll get into college football more in the 11 o'clock hour here. Couple other mean tweets wanted to get to. Mr. Negative, J. Ted, says basically we signed 2 effing duds in Julio and Gage. Julio was MIA in the second half. Yeah, I think they took him out because he got nicked up again. Maybe someone blew on him again. The season could be a freaking nightmare. So basically it's Evans and Godwin, because those 2 from Atlanta suck in all caps.
All right. I think I found the overreaction Monday right there.
Yep. As always.
What I will say, though, about the receivers, you know what I saw yesterday? And I saw it the week prior at a Russell Gage, and the one time Cole Beasley got a look. Can we stay on our freaking feet, man?
Again with this.
Russell Gage finally got one passed in the middle of the field, and he had room to run, and he just falls.
He falls
and
down.
Then Cole Beasley gets a screen pass on like a 3rd and 26 or whatever. But he starts running. He takes 2 steps, and he stumbles.
He falls.
I'm like, what is it? What is going on, man? Nobody can run.
Yeah, especially when you come off the street, you don't have your football legs. That's part of that. I think when you're not, he wasn't in camp with anybody.
Good God.
Yeah, you got to be better than that. Our good friend Brady Tinker from DFW Sports. Wonder how Shaq Barrett feels about this Kansas City offensive line now. That's a running game that went where it wanted to tonight. Hell yeah, it did. I think we said it last week when he said it. Like, what are you doing, man? Why are you giving them bulletin board material like this? Like they were already, that Andy Reid played that on a loop in their freaking locker room all week long. Shaq was laughing at him. Grown ass men in the pros don't take kindly to that stuff.
And the dynamic of this, the reality is, and I know it's a lot different situation, everything, but the last time these 2 teams played was the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs got clowned in that game, just like the Bucs just got clowned. But the Bucs clowned them more than the Chiefs clowned them yesterday. Let's not get it twisted there, especially because it was a Super Bowl. Okay, so I'm not going to say there was more motivation there, because I think there's motivations on both sides always on a week-to-week basis, but there definitely was a sense from the Chiefs of we're coming to get you this time.
Yeah, we're going to beat your ass. Yeah, and they did. From Derek Zimmerman, for a Super Bowl-bound team, talk about the Bucs, I don't see it. Offensive line isn't good enough. Defense is solid, but not tonight. Play calling is different this year. It's got to be Todd's influence, not sold on Bowles as a head coach.
I hate to break it to y'all, but Todd has 0 influence on this offense, in my opinion.
Exactly.
0 influence.
Well, wait a minute. I'll say that I think he came into the season wanting to run the football more and be more balanced. And the first 2 games, I think they did that. I think the Packers stuffed the run game, and and they had no answer because all the receivers were depleted. And then this game, I think they got too far behind. They didn't have the balance, obviously, that they wanted, but they still moved the football, throwing it. And I will say this. If Bowles is so stubborn that he's going to keep trying to, put the round hole, the square peg in the round hole, and force the run when you don't have an offensive line that can execute it, or a plan or a scheme that is varied enough and diverse enough to get teams off balance in the run game, then you can't run the ball. You're wasting your time, especially when you have Brady and these elite weapons. So
and
he's got to react to that.
And let me be a little honest here too. Which of any of the additions the Bucs made have panned out so far? Not rookies, free agents. Because we already went down the Julio train.
I think Logan Ryan's been really good.
Ryan, that's it. You can leave it right there.
I think Keanu Neal's he does what he's supposed to do.
I don't want to count on him.
Which is thump people. So I think he's played well.
I'll leave it right there. Because I mean,
Akeem Hicks,
we can't even get a gauge on, but the game he was in there, he wasn't great.
Julio has not been.
Julio hasn't done anything, and Shaq Mason, did he forget how to run block?
On that touchdown, Rashad White, he cleaned somebody out.
Well, it ain't good. It still ain't good.
I got to go watch the all 22 tonight.
Maybe he had we'll go back and watch.
I don't think he's the problem in the run game. I think it's Hainsey. I think it's Gedeke, and I think it's the absolute.
I don't think he's played his best though.
Boring run game that we run.
I don't think he's played his best though, by any means.
No way. Rob Britt was all over Bowles last night. One more time, Todd Bowles is an awful coach. Just watch him during the game. No clear, deer in the headlights look all the time.
What does that mean?
I just can't get on board with that, folks. I'm sorry. I know you want me to, but I can't do it.
No.
Ryan Smith was the only person that did not like my Dolly Hunter Biden art analogy because it was brilliant, and he's clearly not enamored with that. And this happened. This actually happened. No Bananas Foster in the press box last night.
I heard
supply chain issue.
I heard
Hurricane Ian,
and I think that's why the Bucs game went sideways. To be honest with you,
I said
the
first
routine
of all,
completely out of
and
whack.
I saw everybody. I said if anybody complains about this, you're going off the third
Overboard.
deck. You're going right off the third deck. No parachute.
No parachute.
No parachute. Not one of you better complain about this because you know what they did have. Tenderloin.
I
ate most of it. I ate most of it.
I could see the carving station all the way across the stadium.
Could you?
I could. I told Case, I was like, you see that little bronze or gold thing in the middle there? I see it.
They brought out a new one for me. It was like
for you, huh?
It was
for you.
So perfectly cooked. Oh, beef tenderloin? Are you kidding me? With the horseradish and the au jus, which you can mix together, and it could, that was a highlight of the night.
Yeah, and the other thing too,
I will trade. By the way, I'll trade a tenderloin for Bananas Foster
all day,
any day,
all day,
any day. You want a sweet tooth? That tenderloin was perfectly prepared.
And you know the other thing was just a night of things not going right. The PA didn't even work for the first quarter.
Really?
Did you pick up on that?
No, I did not.
There was no. I was just watching the game, and I'm like, why is it so quiet right now? Like during the game itself, and I'm like, wait a second, there's no PA going on. And then they would try to play videos, and there was no sound. And I was like, the PA's not working. Wow. The whole first quarter, the PA didn't work. And then like the officials would go to call a penalty and you couldn't hear them. The PA was not working for the first quarter. So it was very odd. So a lot of things.
Yeah, we could hear the calls on TV.
Yeah, but as a fan in the stadium, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's bad. Wrigley 15, clearly a Chicago fan, says Akeem Hicks is an injury waiting to happen, and then he'll hurt his hand tweeting angrily at Bucs fans like he did in Chicago. Is he that guy?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he is. Michael Hall says if Rashad White could turn into James White and be the catching back for this team, that's Tom's supplement for the run game like in New England. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, Leonard Fournette was that last year.
Yeah. And again, they were 12 for 12 throwing to backs last night for over 100 yards.
Yeah.
So that was very effective.
Yeah, and I think later in the game, I'll give Leftwich a little credit here. When you're throwing to the running backs, I think there's a way to do it. And he started getting it to where when Fournette was already in motion, he was moving. It's not like stagnant because I think Fournette then has issues getting going and he likes to do some of that with his feet a little bit. And he doesn't exactly go upfield. So, yeah, and Rashad White, he's just a gifted pass catcher.
Yeah.
Gifted.
Yeah, he really is. He gets going. He doesn't slow down or lose his feet when he has to catch the ball.
No.
He actually keeps running when he catches it. What a concept. Oh. All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, we're going to give you Tristan Wirfs talking about what he sees as the problems for the run game. And we're going to get into some college football. First big test. Well, I shouldn't say first big test. but a rank test for Florida State, and they failed miserably on many levels. So we'll talk about that game.
And the USF Bulls.
And the USF Bulls. Jeff Scott, what are you doing? We love you, brother, but not that much anymore. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group in our second hour, BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo and his team over there will get you right if you want to lose some weight, lean up, which I need to do after this past weekend. They will get you right. Go to BAMMC.com for more information. Get your appointment there and start your way back to health. Back in a few.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah, so call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this non-victory Monday. We thank BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, for presenting our second hour here. If you're if you're just looking to get into better health, better shape, and it's a life and death situation these days, right? We saw that in COVID, that people who were obese and had comorbidities were much more likely to be hospitalized and die. You want to be in better shape when this thing comes around again, right? So get your weight down, and they've got proven methods and modern methods to do that at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Don't try to do it by yourself. They've got specials going on right now. Christopher Lugo was on last week talking about nutrition and the different ways that help people with fasting. So they got some really proven methods. So if you want to really lose weight and get healthy again, don't just guess about it. Don't go online and get stuck into a lot of these different stupid videos and things that are just trying to sell you something. Go to somebody who's going to have your best interest in mind, not just trying to sell you something. And that's Chris Lugo and his team over at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Also brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Has your car been totaled and they did not use the NADA value or Kelley Blue Book to pay you off? Insurance companies do this a lot, so you probably got less than you deserved for your totaled car. So give them a call. Just go to jeeveslawgroup.com. You can email them or contact them by phone, and they will tell you if you have a case. It is a free call. Also, personal injury, class action lawsuits, a lot of things they do over there. Scott Jeeves is a nightmare for insurance companies. They do not like to see you represented by the Jeeves Law Group, folks. Trust me on that. So if you get in an accident or you have any legal issues, any personal injury issues, trouble at work, Scott Jeeves is your man. That's jeeveslawgroup.com. All right, I know we've been hitting the Bucs big, and we're going to continue to do one more interview here. It's about the run game and some other things. Had a chance to talk to Tristan Wirfs last night after the game. He looked fine, by the way. He looked like he tweaked his ankle at some point during the game. I was like, oh, boy, we do not need that.
It was a gasp. And him and when Godwin went down.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, everything stopped.
Yeah.
Everything stopped. And I think there was a replay. I missed it, and I heard the entire crowd go, ooh. And I was like, wait, what did y'all see that I didn't see? Thank God he got up.
He grabbed his hip. It was like on a running play, and he just kind of grabbed his hip.
Yeah.
He was blocking. And then in the locker room, he was laying on his back in the middle of the locker room, and he was flexing his left knee.
Well, he ran 45 routes yesterday, which was by far the most of any receiver in week 4. And this is a guy who has hardly played in the past year.
Yeah.
So take that for what you will.
And he did well. What was he? 12 targets, I think.
I think he came down with like 7 for like 60 around there.
Yeah, not his best game.
He had a drop in there.
Yeah, didn't get it in the end zone, but he'll be better. And just having him back, just everything looks different. And, they in week 1, Godwin got some carries. There was a lot of screen game. That whole week 1 offense was so much more imaginative.
Yeah, the only problem there is
they
just couldn't get the ball in the end zone, and when they got down in the red zone, that was it.
Right. So,
but anyway, we'll get to Tristan here.
Yeah. So the Bucs ran the ball for -1 in this game, whatever it was. It was awful. Could not get the run game going early, and didn't even try late. But here's Tristan Wirfs post game. Talk a little bit about the run game. What's going on there?
That's coming from.
I don't know.
He seemed a little
perplexed. I feel like we're getting hats on hats. I think we've always got to keep finishing guys, doing our best to stay on guys. It's kind of like riding a bull. It's an 8-second ride. You got to hold on as long as you can. We'll keep having our Friday run meetings and making sure everyone's on the same page. Us, the tight ends, running backs, receivers, even, and then hopefully it'll. We had some success week 1, so hopefully we can get back to that and get things moving in the right direction.
This is a bad loss, Tristan, but can you guys take things offensively just from the fact that you got in the end zone 4 times?
I think so. I think that's huge. We have 31 points. That's I don't even know. That's we're glad to be in the end zone. We're glad to score in the red zone.
Should win with 31 points.
So that's a positive we can take out of this. But it's not a W, so obviously we'll all come ready to work on Wednesday and watch the tape Monday, and then we have a lot of these left, so it's gonna be a long year.
Can that be a catalyst to kind of getting that offensive momentum back that you guys had, this time last year where you were putting up every game 30 points?
Yeah, I think so. It's just we know we can do it against a good team. So like I said earlier, like it's all three phases. So we all gotta hold each other accountable and play for each other. Play as a team, and then hopefully one of these days we'll put everything together and it'll be special.
Do you think the storm affected you guys' preparation at all? I mean, those are not favorable circumstances, having to get up and pack very quickly, and in between meetings, you're checking on the status of your house and your loved ones back home.
Yeah, I don't think so. I feel like there were a lot of distractions, but I feel like guys handled it really well. From our time down in Miami, I think we tried keeping it as normal of a schedule as possible. But it's a lot different when you got little kids running around the hotel. Everyone was dealing with their dogs, their babies. So it was a lot, but I feel like guys were pretty locked in a pretty strange time. So we did the best we could in a short amount of time, and made the best of it. So
I think his answer on the run game was pretty illuminating. He doesn't know. And when your best tackle doesn't know what's going on in the run game, it means a couple things. It means he doesn't want to really tell you what's going on in the run game. Bland run offense, predictable run offense. And he went back. He goes, "We did a good job in the first game." Yeah, it's a totally different run game. So I think the play calling creativity issues are real in the run game, especially, and they got to be better. They got to be better.
Yeah, and I felt too there were a couple opportunities where you got to make a play, right? And it's little things. And this kind of goes to the defense a little bit, but Levante David had a pick go right through his hands.
Right through his hands.
Yep. I understand that ball was a rocket,
and they score on that.
It's just in a game like that where you needed to take the ball away. It seemed like to get a chance, you got to make a play. How about? And this is the difference of the two teams. Free run at Brady, whoever it was, they knocked the ball out. Mike Edwards, free run at Mahomes, doesn't even go for the ball.
No.
And I'm thinking, I said it to Kate. I'm like, you see the difference there?
Go for
You got
the
to make a
ball.
play.
Yeah.
You have to make a play, and they could not do it. And offensively, I think in the fourth quarter, it was still a 2-touchdown game, and the Bucs were trying to go with it. That's when they had the 3rd and 26. They got 2 first downs.
Yeah.
2 penalties. Negate both those first downs.
Exactly.
And now it's 3rd and 26, and the drive's over.
Bad penalties. And on the 3rd down with the touchdown where he flips it to Allaire, Pat O'Connor just loses contain. You can't do that. You can't lose the contain on Mahomes. And then Devin White comes running up out of control. And, you got to make the play there, man. You just got to make the play. And when you don't, you get clowned. And that's what happened.
Yep.
All right. If you guys want to have any more comments on the Bucs, you know where to hit us up at FanStreamJP, at Nick Geddes News, at the JP Peterson Show. You can also put it in our comments section on our YouTube, the JP Peterson Show. Please subscribe and like that. And also please retweet. And whenever you want to jump in a conversation, do so. All right. I went to the FSU Wake game. First time for my girlfriend and her kids. They loved it. Had a great time. It's a great experience. Good crowd. Weather was fantastic. Weather was so good in the mid 80s. Last night the weather was fantastic too. And it's going to be great all week, by the way. Get your golf clubs out. But man, this Seminole team that I saw took me back 2 years. It was undisciplined, critical penalties, 11 penalties total, a delay of game that was absolutely just completely unwarranted. Unneeded. It was their fault, obviously. They get a holding call, which I think was kind of BS. They would have had a first down, I think, at the 3-yard line. They don't score in either one of those situations where they could have had touchdowns. Wake Forest is just that they're a seasoned veteran team. Sam Hartman was just absolutely executing the offense to perfection. What do we talk about with that slow mesh all week long? You can't let them just do it. You got to attack it and force them to make quick decisions. Now, a lot of times with A.T. Perry, their receiving core is big. They're experienced. They're really, really good. That's why they won the Atlantic last year. That's why they gave Clemson everything they wanted last week. and they don't make mistakes. And FSU was out-coached on third down, constantly out-schemed. Even late in the game, when they have the best kicker in the conference, maybe in the nation, they're going on an 18-play drive. You can't get off the field on third down. Again, you can't make plays. There was one – they were up 7 points at this point. It was 28-21.
Yep.
They're driving, and Sam Hartman was rushed on a blitz. He literally threw the ball to I forget which defensive back it was. He threw it right to him. All he had to do was run to the ball and catch it, but instead he waited on it. The receiver kind of pushes him in the back.
Vance.
Yeah, Greedy pushes him and goes over the top of him, and it converts to third down. You would have got, if you knock it down, you're off the field, you have the ball, and you're driving for the tying touchdown. You should have intercepted it and pick-sixed it. And you don't make plays like that. They were run through. Their offensive line was just a sieve. Jordan Travis was pressured on 11 of his first 17 throws. He had no time to throw. But when he did throw the ball, it was like watching a carbon copy of the Bucs. Couldn't get off the field on third down, kept trying to run the ball when they couldn't run the ball. Wake Forest was really good right before the snap. They were taking their defensive linemen and adjusting. I think they were lined up head up. And then right before the snap, they would adjust into the gaps. And they would shoot the gaps, get penetration, screw up the run game and the pass game. The FSU never really adjusted on the offensive line. They were schooled by Dave Clawson from a coaching standpoint. Wake Forest clearly was the more intense team, which was really weird. You should have got a intensity effort through the freaking roof for your first ranked versus ranked game since 2018. Very, very disappointed in the team we saw. And if this is the team we're going to see the next 2 weeks at NC State and home against Clemson, they're going to get boat raced. I mean, boat raced.
Well, I still thought they went. I was impressed with the fight back. I think there's certain teams that like when when Jeff Scott tries to tell me, oh, I'm proud of the way we responded when we went down big. I don't want to hear it from Jeff Scott because you're 4-22. When it's Florida State and it's been a while since we've seen teams do that, the fact that they were in that game late, they probably had no business being in the game, but they still were because the defense eventually, flipped a switch, I thought, and was starting to make plays, and the offense then lapsed. I mean, the momentum, they had like 3 or 4 moments in that game where Wake Forest gave them momentum, and then FSU just couldn't do it. I mean, going into the second half, you knew you had to get points going to the second half because it was 21-7.
Yep.
Wake gets the ball. You finally were able to force them to give you the ball back, and they go on this nice, long, methodical drive. And I tell you what, Mike Norvell's play calling when it gets into
awful.
The goal, when it gets to the 10 to the goal line, it gets conservative turned up to 10. It's bad. I don't know. I understand it's tight down there, but I'm not impressed with some of it. It's like he really goes conservative. And the announcers were saying, and I'm saying it too, Johnny Wilson has advantage over everybody.
The damn ball to Johnny Wilson in the red zone.
Johnny Wilson could have had his way all game, and they just didn't go to him often at all. And Jordan wasn't looking his way.
From where I was sitting, we were 23 rows up on the 50-yard line. Thank you, Jack Heiss and Vince Bonino. Appreciate it. Johnny Wilson was so much bigger than anybody in their defensive backfield. I mean, it was a joke. And every time he caught the ball on a screen, he ran over 3 people. And I think they ran that play like twice. Maybe anytime in the red zone, and it was like Norvell was trying to out chess match Clawson, and Clawson was toying with him with his timeouts and his use of the clock, and it's like, oh, they're gonna use their timeouts to get the ball back. Well, then we're gonna run the football and make them use another timeout. Like, you dumbass! All you got to do is throw the football into the end zone. You're gonna score a touchdown. You want the first thing you got to do is score a touchdown. Then they missed the short field goal because the kicker is awful and has no confidence. And what are you doing when it's 28-13 going for 2? Well, at 28-13.
He had no confidence in the kicker.
Oh, come on, man. It's an extra point. You got to give it. The only way you're going to get your kicker back is to let him take a free throw.
That's on
hit a freaking extra point.
And here's the thing, though.
That's the time you got to get him to kick it. That's the freebie.
But here's the thing, though. It's on Norvell that he has to go for 2 because he should have rectified this kicking position long ago. We know.
No excuse. That's a stupid move.
But what I'm
stupid
saying,
move. That's coaching like you're still at Memphis.
I get that. What I'm saying is that's on Norvell, though, for thinking that he has to do that because he has an incompetent kicker that he does not trust, because he should not be kicking at Florida State. We know who he is.
Yeah.
We know who Fitzgerald is. He's not that guy.
Yeah.
He's. I don't want to say he's the Rodemaker of kickers because Rodemaker shut us all
Yeah,
up last
that's
time,
right,
but he
right.
was approaching that. He's in that thing. He's not a, I don't see how he's a Division I kicker. He's not a Florida State kicker. Standards should be.
Did you see his follow through on that one?
It's awful. I mean,
It was like my wedge, my sand wedge from the middle of the fairway, Chunk City. I mean, it was just awful.
I said it on Twitter. I'm like, where the hell did the great FSU kickers go? This program was pumping out NFL quality kickers for years.
Right.
And since the Roberto, Ricky to me was, yeah. And then ever since then, it's just gone downhill progressively. It's worse. And punting is the same
I don't
way.
care. It's a 20-yard field goal, bro. You got to go for the extra point there. That's dumb.
But I find it funny, though. It's like even at the end of the game there, and I understand that the chances of you winning the game are slim, but it was 4th and 15, and I think it was 4th and 15, right? And he felt like it was a better chance to make a 50-something yard field goal.
Yeah, but then they have a delay of game because 2 offensive linemen aren't on the field. Like, how do you?
And that's on Norvell again.
Yeah, how do you not? How do
in
you
that
not?
moment,
guys
though,
aren't. How are guys not ready in that situation to go out for a field goal? Come on,
my
man.
point with that is, hold up. My point is, I understand the chance of you winning are slim, but if you really are trying to prolong this game, I don't care what the percentages say. If you can't trust him to kick an extra point, how can you trust him to kick a 55-yarder?
Exactly.
Just have Jordan Travis do something. Throw it up to Johnny Wilson. I think that gives you a better shot.
Either one. I mean, I'm like, that's not why they lost the game.
They
but
couldn't. Here's the thing: when you have 11 penalties and the offensive line play was
awful.
And I don't even mean that in a pass protection standpoint as much because I mean,
and what did Clemson run for? I mean, they put up 600 yards of offense on these guys
the numbers.
last week.
What's crazy? It's like Wake Forest came into this game one of the worst teams nationally running the football.
Yeah.
I was shocked when I looked at the box score that FSU averaged more yards per carry than Wake. Wake only ran for 3.4 yard average of a carry. It felt like it was a lot worse than that.
Oh my God! But they made every big run they needed to.
Every single one. And FSU's defensive line, without Lovett in there, it was very noticeable.
Yes.
Jared Verse was on a pitch count, but I tell you what, he needed
bad. Yeah.
I couldn't tell. The guy was amazing when he was in there.
Yeah, he was running on the field. When he ran on the field, he was limping.
He went down once and went out, but then he came back in. He was I don't know how many snaps he played, but he was a game wrecker when he was in there. He was changing the game.
Yeah, he was.
When he was in there.
That's why he went in there. He probably has like a torn MCL. You know, guys can play on that depending on the pain, and they put a knee brace on it.
He's a special player.
Yeah,
he's a special player. They need him to be healthy.
They need Lovett and Verse to be healthy.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. I mean, last year it was 35-14 against Wake Forest. 31-21. I mean, what expectations? Listen, I think because we've been so impressed with the first 4 games, we've been like, oh, we have all these higher expectations now.
Oh, listen, if you told me a 4-1 start,
a 10-point loss to Wake Forest.
No, at 4-1, you're farting confetti. I mean, you're like, this is fantastic. But the way it's like the Bucs. If you said 2-2, you'd be like, okay, I'll take it. But now it's like after you get the 2 road games. And you come back and lose 2 at home, you don't feel so good about it. You're 4-1, but you played so poorly against Wake. It was an opportunity. I mean, you win that game, you're 5-0, you're 3-0 in conference, you're on top of it, and that was a winnable game. And I think the coaching, number one, they got out-coached, terribly out-coached. Yeah. And they didn't have the intensity, which that just is bizarre. I don't know why you're not ready to win. When Wake Forest wants it more than you do, in that situation, that was concerning.
And I think Jordan
was concerning.
I was trying to go back and find the quote, but Jordan had some kind of comment after the game where it was like after the first drive, we just got out of sync and like we kind of it just felt off right away. And it's like because the first drive they did what they wanted to.
Oh, they threw the football,
but.
They threw the football.
And
then they started to run tried to run the football all game long.
Yeah.
And their offensive line was getting whipped.
Yeah, and Trayshawn Ward had a bad fumble. Trayshawn Ward had a bad fumble.
Yeah.
Trey Benson got 6 touches of the football. That's egregious in my opinion.
Oh, come on. Especially after the game he had.
That's egregious in my opinion.
Yeah, the play calling was awful.
But we saw the emergence of Micah Pittman, punt return.
Couldn't cover Mike Pittman. Couldn't cover Johnny Wilson.
I'm saying. You had the advantage there. They just didn't use them.
Big third down in the red zone. They go to McDonald down the middle when and Johnny Wilson's outside one-on-one.
Yeah.
That was bad on Jordan.
We'll see if it's a blip on the radar or not. NC State, I stand by it. Again, not impressed. Their offense is stuck in the mud right now. They just were unimpressive against Clemson. I think that's still a winnable game for FSU. I know it's going to be tough going up there, but I still believe in the team. I know AP, and by the way, AP rankings, either you believe in them or you don't. Get out of here with this nonsense. LSU's ranked now. and Florida State's not. We won.
FSU dominated that game.
FSU dominated that game.
than it
Way
should have been.
closer. They're
Way
They're
closer
both
than it should have
4-1. Who the hell's LSU beat?
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State just dominated Texas A&M, but
They did, yeah.
But still, I mean, I know the rankings, whatever, but that seems a little SEC bias to me.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to the rest of the NFL, and we'll talk some Rays baseball as well, although I don't know why. Has this been the most anticlimactic playoff push ever? We'll talk about it.
We'll celebrate. We'll celebrate a fourth consecutive postseason. We'll do that.
Meh. All right, we're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center here in our second hour, BAMMC.com. Also, the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Back in 3. Stay with us.
Time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Jeeves Law Group, and Italiano Insurance. Hey, if you have any issues with your insurance company, or even if you don't deal, are not a customer of Italiano Insurance, they'll help you out. Just give them a call, 813-877-7799. Ask them to shop around your insurance. They'll answer your questions because they're the best customer service people in the business. But if you have a question about claims and folks, if you saw what's going on now down in Southwest Florida, there's so many people I couldn't believe who don't have insurance. The 64% of people are underinsured when it comes to their home. Don't be that guy. 877-7799. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and make sure that you are up to date on your insurance needs, because the property value has gone up dramatically over the past couple of years. So if you're still sitting at a lower level in terms of replacement costs for your home, get on it. It doesn't cost that much more, but you got to be insured to the level of what replacement cost is. And of course, all the other, because you can see that there are some homes that are just gone. Man, I've been watching some of the footage. I don't know if you've seen some of the footage, Nick, but man, it just absolutely devastation. And further knowledge, folks, that man, if that thing is coming at you, and if it's anywhere near you, get the hell out. There's so many people in Naples and Fort Myers, especially in the coastal areas, are like, oh, the forecast has it going up there. No offense to the weather people, but
well, here's
if it ticks, 50 miles, which every hurricane does, it's a life and death change. So you have to be ready for that. If it's coming anywhere if you're in the cone, 300-400 miles, whatever it is, have a plan. Have a plan to get the hell out.
Yeah.
You cannot stay in those areas.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people on Twitter on like Friday or everything that were like, they expressed a lot of discontent with the weather people, and they said that they were just focusing on Tampa, and they weren't worried about. Be
smarter.
But here's the thing: the National Hurricane Center, which was spot on all the way, their initial forecast, if you look at it, it did exactly what they did, and their cone never left that Southwest Florida area.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't want to bang. I understand. There's always that mentality. Well, to hell with what they say. I'm going to stay here.
No.
But
gosh, it's crazy what's happened. And then the aftermath, people are out there, oh, I can't find food. There's 24 hours afterwards. I mean, if you haven't planned for 24 to 48 hours with no power, that's on you, man.
To me, the stuff in Orlando was more shocking to me because they're so inland, and there was so much.
I was in Orlando,
flooding.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. I mean, all these areas, like all around UCF and all these roads they're like unrecognizable right now. And it's
that's more unexpected than the coastal stuff.
Yeah, because we expected that to happen. Orlando, I could not believe the flooding there. And they showed video. I was watching some of it on Saturday or Friday. And again, it's just people with these mentalities. I don't get it. You have people that are risking their lives, and they're on these airboats that are there to get you out of your house. And there's people that are like, no, I don't want your help. And they're carrying all their stuff trying to paddle through the water. And it's like, they're there to help you.
I know.
I don't understand this mentality with people. But
we got to be, we have to reach out. I mean, obviously, I'm not, banging on people that got hit. That's not what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is we just
lesson
to the people here in Tampa Bay.
It's been a while since we've gotten a hurricane in this state, really.
So, it's why, if you evacuated and you're like, oh man, I went through all that trouble and they didn't even come here again. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. You got to get out. And if it doesn't come, you count your blessings and get back ready and do it again the next time. If it's anywhere near you and you live in a coastal area, like the people that stayed at Sanibel Island, the people that stayed in Fort Myers Beach and Naples, and it's like, you knew 12 to 24 hours out and they can't come get you. Once it happens, and they tell you this, if you don't evacuate these mandatory evacuations, they can't come get you for quite some time. So, and you're putting those people in danger as well. So, man, but I feel sorry for all those people that have lost so much, and whatever you can do to help, please help.
Yeah.
All right. The Rays have made the playoffs. Woo. Yay. Woo.
Don't be disrespectful.
I mean,
don't be disrespectful.
No.
Hey, hold on.
If they didn't expand the playoffs, everybody would be going with a crappy season.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So your reason you're in is because they expanded the playoffs, not because you had a great season. Just saying. 4 out of the last 5 games, 6 out of the last 8, 1 run or less. They're steamrolling into the playoffs.
It's a tough watch.
Yeah, and how do you expect? Like you want me to pay money to go see this? Yeah, no.
Oh, I'll be going to the well, I don't know if we're going to get a home game, but
no, we're not.
Maybe it depends.
No, we're not.
Win in advance, I guess we have to get up to a playoff game. But no, I mean, I still think, going to the playoffs for 4 straight years, like that matters. I think I saw a stat. The only team in the AL East to do that in the history of the AL East is the Yankees, to go to 4 straight playoffs. The Red Sox didn't do it. The Blue Jays didn't do it. The Orioles did it. The Yankees and the Rays. And I still think that means something. We can get into their prospects of winning anything in the playoffs, and they're very, slim to none.
0.
Again, we learned that they cannot hit good pitching. And then again, the pitching was great against Houston's offense this series. I mean, I expect
fantastic,
but you scored 4 runs total?
Yeah.
She's not going to get it done. But we talked about it. I mean, let's be honest.
Yandi's
here.
still not right since the altercation.
Yeah,
the verbal
but we
altercation.
talked about it too, though. They could be, maybe they could be low key saying, yeah, we kind of want the third wild.
Oh yeah, you don't want the two.
You don't want the two. There's
Like
no point.
Wander and Yandy had the days off and didn't even pinch it in the ninth because they don't want the second. You want the third. If you can't get to the first, which they can't get to, and that was their stated goal, they had to get to them. And we talked about this last week. Without getting those home games, without being able to come home and reset, they're gonna have to go. They've already been on the road for 2 weeks. Now they're gonna have to probably go directly to Toronto. Directly to Cleveland, where they just were. They haven't been home in 2 weeks. There's been a hurricane here. All of their loved ones, and it wasn't like I don't know this for a fact, but I don't think that they flew their loved ones out or anything to get them safe. Like the Bucs did. I'm not saying they had to. People have their own personal responsibility, but they had to worry about all that and play baseball, and it's a lot to ask.
Yeah,
it's a lot to ask.
That too, but I want to push back on something real quick that you said, because you were like, it doesn't mean you had a great season, and I don't want to downplay the season really, because and I tweeted it after they won the game. This is a team that in late July had 17 guys on the IL. That kind of devastation to your lineup, your pitching staff, whatever. Every other team in Major League Baseball probably rolls over at that, and you're not in the thick of things. I think we should at least give the Rays credit. That they were able to stay in it, stay afloat, and they got hot at one time to create themselves some separation away from Baltimore, whatever, to where they can lock in, to where they can have a bad stretch at the end of the season and they're fine. I give them credit. I mean, look at the guys they had in the lineup, the Yu Changs of the world that were in the lineup for a while, whoever they had to play it, Renee Pintos of the world. I mean, they just had all the Luke Raley, Roman Quinn. I mean, look at the guys that for a while were in this lineup, and they had to piece it together to eventually get to what they have now, which is the healthiest they've been, albeit not playing well, but they're at the point now. So I think I want to give them credit there to be able to manage that storm. And again, that's why I say so much about Kevin Cash. I'm tired of people criticizing Kevin Cash.
No.
This guy is arguably the best manager in the game. I tweeted out that he deserves to win the manager of the year for the third year in a row. And everybody's all up in arms. Well, what about Seattle? And what about Baltimore? I don't want to hear about Baltimore because you didn't make the playoffs. Okay. It's great that you turned them around, but you didn't make the playoffs. Seattle, whatever. They didn't have the issues that the Rays had.
Nobody did.
Nobody did. I think this to me, this is a Kevin Cash season.
Yeah, I mean, those are all fair points. But I hate using making the playoffs as the metric, because the only reason they made the playoffs is because they expanded the playoffs. So you're using a paradigm of success that's historic of making the playoffs when they've changed the formula to make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't say that, making the playoffs is a great season, but your point of the IL, absolutely well taken. But I can also go to Lonnie Wilkins here and said, JP, I'm glad we held on to our 200 hitting can't miss prospects and not using a few to add legit big league talent. Cruz was always going to be a rental. The core needed a big bat. Absolutely. They needed a big bat before the season, at the deadline, and they never spent the money to get it. Bottom line, didn't do it. Haven't done it. Probably won't ever do it. Here's another one from Lonnie. Makes you just wonder how bad the trop is for hitters to pick up the ball, like Willie said, and players just don't want to come here long-term to play, but all live here. Absolutely. The trop is an awful place to hit. It is. I mean, it's one of the reasons our pitching is so good, but it's hard to pick up the ball. The lighting is terrible. It's not a homer-friendly ballpark.
Let me give you this is where the Rays have had a shortcoming, and this goes on probably the front office for misevaluating. In 2021, the Rays were second in Major League Baseball in runs behind just the Astros. They had more runs than the Toronto, the Dodgers, you name it.
Yep.
857 runs. In 2022, the Rays have scored 660 runs. That is a 200-run difference from one year to the next.
Austin Meadow trades worked out well, didn't it?
I'm not going to harp on that. I think there was other
we
things.
could just get rid of 100 RBIs. We'll be fine.
I think there's other things at play there. Like I said, the fact that you were playing with guys who just are not going to drive the ball.
You thought Josh Lowe was ready, and he wasn't.
You thought Josh Lowe was ready, and he wasn't. We didn't get a healthy Wander Franco for majority of this year. We saw significant regression from G-Man Choi.
Yep.
You go down the list.
But all the more reason to go out and buy proven, consistent.
No, I get that.
Major league boppers. And we don't do it because it costs money. And we're not going to do it because it costs money. We win on the cheap. and that's the number one priority.
And that's why
bottom line.
and that's why I'm gonna be rooting my tail off for them to win this thing. And it starts on Friday. And I love playoff baseball. I love the atmosphere. Again, I hope we're wrong, but I just cannot see a way this team wins the World Series. And that's just the bar. To me, the Rays have set that bar because they got there in 2020, and last year you won 100 games, and we knew it was doomed going into last year because you had the rookie rotation. And this year was supposed to be the year where we kind of put it all together, and it just feels like this team has taken a step back from the last two teams.
No question, and I think their prospects for postseason are very, very dim.
Yeah.
You just even playing Cleveland, who doesn't score a ton of runs. They've got great pitching, and great pitching will shut us down.
It's going to be a tough for both teams to score if that's the series. Tough.
And if they start on Friday, Saturday, go Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
I believe so, yes.
Think I'll be watching any of that on Saturday and Sunday when college and football and a playoff game?
I did it last year when the Bucs were playing the Dolphins last year in like week 5, and the Rays were playing the Red Sox, and I turned off the Bucs game, or it went on a secondary.
If it's the same time as the FSU game, forget about it. Right? Same time, and the Bucs are playing at what, 1:00? It's Atlanta.
You could have multiple things going,
No, I'm not for a team that can't score. I'm sorry.
It's the playoffs.
All right. There's a new number 1 team. Alabama beats Arkansas, but they lose Bryce Young. I don't know how serious that injury is. Was it shoulder injury?
I don't think it's that serious, to be honest with you. I think he's just dinged up a little bit.
Arkansas, they go on the road and they beat Arkansas by 23. That's pretty impressive.
Disappointing from Arkansas.
Yeah.
At home, Bryce Young got taken out of the game.
You got to be better.
They've lost to A&M and Alabama. Arkansas taking a step back this year.
They had a big chance. Sam Pittman. What happened? John Daly, where are you? Georgia almost loses to Mizzou. Like, I could turn that game on when I got back from FSU. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? What the hell is going on here?
Another team that thinks they can just kind of sleepwalk their way through games. And
something that kind of goes under the radar. Alabama and Georgia. They play, 4 legit road games a year?
Yeah.
That's it.
No, they don't do it. I told you the Bryce Young stat.
Yeah, what was that stat?
In the 5 true road games he's played in his career, 4 of them were decided by 3 points or less. That was before the Arkansas game.
Just saying.
Before you go any further, though, because we're a local show here.
Yeah. Oh, God. You go down to FAU. I don't know the logistics. Would have been a difference if you played here?
No.
Probably not. USF, what are you doing? Jeff Scott, God, love you guys. Love you guys. Damn, you can't coach. What the hell is going on? 40. What was the score at halftime? 41-3? Or no, that was last week. Or
no, that was it.
To East Carolina?
What did I tell you, though?
East Carolina?
I'm not surprised. I told you this Holton Ahlers is one of the best quarterbacks in the conference.
He is.
And C.J. Johnson is one of the best receivers. That was worse than men versus boys. This team.
I didn't see any of it, so I'm going to try to go back.
I watched the first half, and my eyes couldn't take it. This team stinks. I love that we get so much access to USF, and I love talking to the players, and they're a great bunch, and I want it so bad for them.
We all do.
I want it for the fan base. I want it for Jeff Scott, but the facts are the facts. This team stinks. They do. I don't know what this was against Florida, what they did there, but this team can't get it done. Jeff Scott's 4-22. I'm watching coaches getting fired for a 62-27 record. Paul Christ at Wisconsin. 62-27. He's getting fired.
Crazy. That's crazy.
We don't want you anymore. Please leave. Jeff Scott's 4-22.
That's the thing. USF, they're building a stadium,
and I know
they don't have the money to fire him.
But here's the thing, and I told you East Carolina is a much better team than maybe people think. That much better? I don't know.
Look, Michael Kelly does not want to fire Jeff Scott. He does not want to get rid of his staff. But you can't go out there and play like this on a week in, week out basis.
Hey,
you can't.
Guess who they got this weekend?
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Is it at home? Or is it at home?
It's on the road.
Maybe that'll be. I don't know. I don't know anymore with this.
They
team
might
now.
not win another game. I'm not kidding.
And then, if that's the case, you can't keep him. You can't keep the staff. You have to clean house. You got to find the money. You got to figure out something.
Yeah, he's got to make a quarterback. I just got to make a quarterback change. I really do. Something's got it. You got to do something to spark.
That's why these guys are in the portal for a reason.
Yeah, I mean Jimmy Horn, by the way, returned here like 180 yards. So there's a spot. There's a bright spot there, but nothing else. It's a bad team.
And you know what's really bad? Timmy McLean. You'd be in the game. You'd be in the game. You'd be playing. And I'm going to ask this question. As much as we like Gary, and it seems like the teammates love Gary, that was Timmy's team. Was it not?
I think there might be Jeff Scott lost the team. Is it fair to question it?
Well, when the results are
I tell you what, there's a lot of videos going around.
How do you go to Florida and should have won the game? You should have beat an SEC team at their place. You ran all over them.
Yeah.
And then how do you lay 2 eggs like that coming out of that?
Yeah.
That tells me you have the talent. You have talent to go toe-to-toe with these teams. But something happened. Something's going on that just you can't have it. You just can't.
And there's a lot of video going around on Twitter right now. There's a bunch of videos of where USF would call offensive timeouts, and everybody's in the huddle, and the one guy who's not there and is doing nothing is Jeff Scott. He's just sitting on the sideline with his arms crossed and literally not involved in any of the huddles.
That's not good.
It's not good.
That's
it's
not
going
good.
around. People are like, what does he actually do? So it's starting to get bad.
That's not good. That's not good. All right. We got a lot more of the rest of the week. We're going to dive into more of what's going on at USF, what's going on at FSU. I'm going to spend a lot of this day calling people, talking to people, figure out what the hell is going on. So hopefully we'll have some answers for you this week. I got to put my reporter's hat on. Go find out what's happening. It was a bad week for the local teams. It's been a great start to the season. We've been riding high, but this is football, folks, and it's never easy. It's never easy. So we'll see if all of our local teams can get back at it. Hey, congrats to the Gators. Big win for them over Eastern Washington. Great job there. Great job there. And the Canes didn't lose to Middle Tennessee State, so that was good too. All right. Our thanks to all our sponsors. Great job, Nick. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. See you then.